guys, welcome back to my channel. Luna Grim here, and today I'm finally ready to talk about Fear the Walking Dead episode 8, The Door, and episode 9, Things Left to Do. It's taken me a while to do a review and kind of like a breakdown of the episode, only because I didn't know how to feel after The Door. I did not think that I could do a video based off of the fact that my character died in such a horrible way. And I was trying to figure out the direction and where the writers were going and all of that. So I was waiting to see if there was going to be a conclusion to John Dory dying, and there was a really good outcome from his death. I know it sounds horrible to say that, but I was able to feel more at ease with what I feel the writers were trying to do after watching Things Left to Do, episode number 9, where it was practically June's episode and Morgan's episode, and it was also Virginia's episode. It was a pretty big episode. It felt epic, like a finale or like a premiere. It felt really up there, kind of like, The Walking Dead. Their premieres are always usually amazing, and their finales are usually amazing as well. So I'm finally ready to talk about everything. So let's dive in. I have my notebook with some notes, but let's see. The Door started off really dark. We saw John go into a very dark place, and it was very difficult to watch at times. For me personally, being a survivor of that subject, trying to commit suicide, and I'm sorry for, saying the word or, touching on the subject, but it is a very important subject. So if you guys are feeling like there's no hope left, or you can't find the answer, if you do need help, please look for the resources. Help is out there, and it does get better. Alright, so continuing. We see him in a very horrible place, but we also get to see John, like who he is. We get to experience his past as well. He got to talk about his dad and how his dad left, after the whole incident happened where he, I think it was he killed a bad guy for the wrong reasons, but moving on. We also get to see that he's been checking out movies at this store where Morgan and Dakota are hanging out after they had an incident with the walkers on the bridge. And we see amazing shooting skills from John practically this whole episode. It was amazing. We see him shoot walkers left and right, and just one shots. And then he's looking for doors to put on his cabin, because that's where he's staying. And the doors is meant for walkers not to come in after he kills himself. That was really difficult to watch this, because John Dory is a fan favorite, and for the writers to just do a complete left turn to where he's nothing like the person that we knew. He was very bubbly, very hopeful. I mean, he looked for June and all that stuff. It is just, it was very difficult to see him turn in such a dark manner. But after that, we get the scene with a ranger that lassos Morgan. I thought that it had gone around his neck, but no, it actually went across his shoulder. So John was able to focus and kill that ranger, but he blames himself because he could have killed him in that, I'm gonna call it a rental shack, because of the movies that he was renting. So had he killed him there, the ranger wouldn't have came back and tried to kill Morgan. And because of that, the truck that they had was totaled. And so then they fix an older truck that's there. Morgan is able to fix it. We get to learn that Morgan, used to do repairs on cars back in his past. And through this episode, we're able to see Dakota's skills that she's been able to pick up from everybody that she's met, and she's been using these skills. We even see her shoot a walker through the windshield and save John. Why she went out of her way to save him when literally 5 minutes later she ends up killing him, because he finds out that it was her that killed the ranger, Cameron, I think his name was, and only because he found out that she was escaping and sneaking out and stuff, and she thought that it would be a good idea to kill him because of it. And John confronts her, and we see the outcome. She shoots him. She could have done so many things, but I did not expect her to shoot him, because he was giving her a way out. He was telling her that he could help her and that they could help each other, and she still chose to shoot him. He goes into the river. We see this sad scene of him drowning, practically dying, and we're left crushed and confused, like, oh my god, did this actually happen? We're in shock. And then he musters up the courage and the strength to survive. He makes up his mind, and at that moment he says it's not too late, and so he swims up and he saves himself. So we're left to think that, okay, he's going to be fine, because people on these shows have survived much worse. Literally, Morgan was shot in the same way, and he survived. And we end up finding out that it was Dakota that saved him, not Madison, like we all thought. And like the Twitter page has been teasing for months that it could be Madison, but it wasn't. It was Dakota. How she was able to kill all those walkers when she struggled to kill that one, I don't understand. But that's just a little, I guess, a little hiccup with all of this. So all in all, it was still a great episode. I was upset that they killed my favorite character in such a horrible way. They practically killed him twice, because of the bridge when he falls off, and then when he washes up on the riverbank, or whatever it's called, where June is at with Virginia at the cabin. June runs out to help him, just to find out that it's too late. John turned. It was horrible seeing him turn. And we're reminded that, like, this stuff happens. Plot armor is not a thing on these shows. And your favorite character can die at any moment. And it was such a sad scene. But June was in shock the entire time. We see that she didn't really shed any tears. She was just in shock. Understandably so. But I think me as a viewer, I think because I was crying so much, I was expecting her to cry or something. And since I didn't see it, I was, a little bit disappointed. But the outcome was still the same, because in the next episode, which was episode 9, Things Left to Do, it starts off with June, and she's burying John. And it's such a horrible scene. Seeing him lifeless like that did not sit well with me. And we are able to see all these emotions just through the blank stare in her eyes when she's just like on autopilot. She's just digging this hole with like all these emotions behind her eyes. And I think that's what I wanted to see. And she, like I said, she's still in shock. And then it makes it seem like she's gonna grab John's gun to kill Virginia, but the ranger gets in the way, and then she gets put in the lineup with everybody else. And Virginia's calling to Morgan that he needs to respond or else he's gonna kill Grace. That was such an intense scene, because lineups on these shows do not end well for us, the viewers. Something bad is gonna happen. And Morgan shows up like the savior that he is, and Virginia loses all her power in that split second where he shows up. She's afraid. You could see that she's visibly afraid. And then he starts telling the truth about what happened with Dakota, and she just loses it. She starts going around telling everybody, I saved you, I gave you a bed, and all this stuff. Like, she's just losing it. And finally, Victor steps up. He finally does something that is honorable, because he, as much as I love Victor, he's also very sneaky and manipulative, and we really don't know where Victor stands half the time, where his mind is at. But we're able to see that he comes through, and the army that Virginia tasked him to create, he did create, and they're following his orders, not hers. And we see that, which was awesome, freaking awesome, that we're able to see Victor get this army, and he's practically in this leadership role, which suits him well. He is leader material. He is just, a lot of the times we don't know where he's at mentally. But nonetheless, amazing scene. There's a shootout, and Rangers are killed left and right. And Daniel Salazar, I swear, he is a certified badass. And for him to be manhandled the way that he was manhandled was not okay. And I hope that the writers give an explanation for that, because Daniel is a badass. So for him to be dragged just the way that they were manhandling him was not okay. And Virginia gets away with Morgan. Morgan saves her because he knows that if he kills Virginia, then possibly Grace and Daniel could either be killed or never seen again. And so he takes it upon himself to save Virginia. He patches, because she's shot, I forgot to mention. I think it's Victor shoots her because he gives her an ultimatum, basically, it's like, give up. We could do this the easy way or the hard way. And obviously she chose the hard way, and she got shot by Victor. And so Morgan patches her up, and she's alive. It was just funny seeing her in agonizing pain, because obviously we don't like seeing people in pain. But for her, I felt like it was warranted because of all the stuff that she did, and she sent her Rangers to do. And then we make it back to the dam. They still don't have a name for that community. I don't know what kind of name they're going to use, but I think that community really deserves a name. Like Alexandria, Hilltop, they all have names, So this new community, don't know what it's going to be called. We'll wait and find out. But we're able to see the rest of the gang. we're reminded that Charlie's alive. She's there. I totally forgot about Charlie. I cannot believe they're springing this on us again, because Charlie killed Nick. A teen killed one of the favorite characters, and it's literally being repeated again with Dakota killing John. And so Dakota's being held in shackles in the church, and Virginia is demanding to talk to her. But as soon as everybody else shows up, Victor and Sherry's group, the masked people, they show up demanding Virginia's head. Not specifically that way, but they're asking for Virginia. And Virginia loses it again. She doesn't want to talk to Dakota. She thinks it's better this way. And then she offers her life. In return, Dakota gets to stay at this new community, which nobody wants. None of us want. Nobody wants Dakota around. Which leaves me to a theory that we'll get into in a little bit. But she wants Morgan to do the honors and killing her quickly, because she fears that Victor and the Rangers are going to want to torture her or prolong her death in such a way that she's going to end up suffering more. And so we see him struggle with this. She takes her out. He looks badass, by the way. He looks like an executioner. And we see that he's getting super close to doing it, but he gets these flashbacks. And then he gives this Rick-like speech saying, what are we doing? The future that we're building, what are we doing? So he saves her yet again, and they go back in, and he makes Virginia talk to Dakota, and that's where we get the scene that we've been waiting for, because earlier it was mentioned that Dakota is not Virginia's sister, but her daughter. It's a mother-daughter relationship. And we're able to see them talk about it, and Dakota's not having it. She still doesn't care. She is upset. And honestly, as a viewer, I couldn't care less. I don't care about either character. I love them. They're awesome characters. It's just, at this point, we really don't care because she killed John, Also, can we please talk about Sherry? What the fuck? What are you doing? What are you doing? Why'd you break up with my man Dwight like that? After he traveled across the country for you. It does not make sense. Even if she's trying to find herself, don't you think she probably would have done it by now? I mean, I know she just... Nope, I can't. As much as I think about it, I cannot think of a reason why she would dump Dwight in such a way. You could have just been like, okay, I'm sorry. I don't love you anymore, or I just feel like we are better apart. No. She went out her way and said that she's gonna find her future with these masked people, these masked men, because I haven't really seen a lot of females in that group, other than maybe one or two. But she's gonna go with these masked men, and she's gonna find her happiness with them before she can find it with Dwight. Okay. But again, I don't know what's gonna happen with Sherry. Something happens with her. I think in the promo for this next half of this season for Fear the Walking Dead, it shows like some images of her or something. So something's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen, but hopefully she wakes up and she realizes that, hey, this man traveled half across the world practically for me. So, you know, let me stay with him because he did this for me. The only reason he's even on Fear is because he was looking for Sherry. And Sherry dumped his ass like he was just nothing. So, yeah. Poor Dwight. I wonder what this means for Dwight's future. I guess we'll have to wait and see. And Morgan agrees to let Virginia go with Dakota. And I was not having it. I don't think a lot of people were having it. A lot of people were very upset about that. And everybody leaves except for June. June stays behind to change her dressing. But she asks her if she knew what Dakota was capable of beforehand. And Virginia says, yeah, that basically she was watching out for her daughter. And then we find out that June had a daughter whose name was Rose, which is very sad, but we're able to see that switch. She went from being this sympathetic mother who sympathizes with Virginia because she was a mother trying to save her daughter, just like she was. And we see it switch. She grabs John's gun and she points it at Virginia. Virginia's afraid of her again. And June shoots Virginia. Shoots her right in the head. No more Jenny. No more Jenny. No more Jeannie. Jeannie. Jenny. Sorry, I just can't. The way she says her name, I just can't. But no more Virginia. She's gone. And she puts on John's hat and she walks out that fucking church like a boss ass bitch. I was screaming. I was happy because it was such an amazing scene. Not only is she, you know, like it's an eye for an eye. She puts on John's hat. She walks out with that blood splattered on her cheek, and she's just such a fucking badass. That's when she turns into everybody's favorite character because we weren't expecting it. Like I said, they were already gonna let them go. So at the very last split second, like she takes matters into her own hands. She gets revenge for John's death. And we love her for it because that's exactly what needs to happen on these shows. That is what happens on these shows. That's what should happen. Maggie and Negan, same thing. We'll see what happens next season. A lot of people don't want that to happen because people like Negan. I like Negan. But I still can't deny the fact that he should die because he killed Glenn in such a horrible way in front of Maggie and took joy out of it. But with that said, I wanted to get to my theory. There's a reason that they're showing Dakota is so easy to kill people. There's a reason. And that reason is because Dakota's going to stick around for a while. And I'm thinking that Dakota is going to turn into the most craziest villain that we've probably seen. Because she's unhinged. She's okay with killing. She has no remorse. And I hope that they go that route with Dakota. I hope that Dakota turns into this crazy villain and she's just trying to kill everybody, you know. And we don't know what's going to happen. Like I said, don't know how it's going to happen. But that would be amazing. If Dakota turns into this like super mega villain, and she earns a name for herself, like Negan, you know, like the governor, like these great villains, and hopefully Dakota is one of them. But I don't know what's going to happen. I think the writers are not going to do that, because there's a whole new story coming with the end is the beginning people, and the trailers that we've been getting, that Alicia is like in this weird mad scientist lair or something. So we'll see what that's all about. So kids on these shows are always bad news. Always bad news. And that brings me to another thing. Where are the kids that were in that radioactive plant area that whole season? All those kids, where are they? What did Virginia do to them? Did they escape? Are they in another settlement? Are they gonna show up again at some point? I know things are gonna be a little bit difficult because of COVID and the guidelines and all that stuff, but I'm curious to see what happened to all those kids and if they're ever gonna bring them back. And I'm wondering where this is gonna take Dakota, because she seemed visibly upset that June killed her mom, that she just found out about. And then where's June gonna go after this? Like I said, but June was actually in the background for a while. She's front and center right now, so we'll see where this is gonna take her. All I know is that June is my favorite character. I'm glad that she did what she did. Amazing show, amazing episode. So what do you guys think is gonna happen with June? What's gonna happen with Dakota? Where are the kids? Please answer down below in the comments. Tell me what you thought of the episode. Like I said, I rated this episode a 10 out of 10, which would be episode number 9. And talking about the door and things left to do, they were amazing episodes together. They concluded all the storylines very beautifully. Excited to see what's coming next. And if you guys are interested in my videos, I would suggest you guys please subscribe to my channel. Turn on your notifications. That way you guys are notified every single time that I upload. Again, like this video. Thank you guys for watching. And until next time, stay alive.